Sí, 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 sí. Ahí está, ahí está.
Get it there.
Yeah.
Viene otra por acá. This is out of this world.
Wow. It's a cracking bird.
Yeah, a little bit less, a little bit more. Yeah, got it.
Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of The Birder Show. As always, if you like our content, please do remember to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, check out all the links to our social media and our Patreon in the description below, where you can support our mission to make birding more accessible to people all around the world. We're coming to the end of our incredible journey through Colombia's Valle del Cauca region with our final chapter. Diego, as always,
Hey,
nice to be here with you.
how's it going, mate? Birding in the Pacific Chocó is always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, so as Diego mentions there, for the final episode of our Valle del Cauca series, we've come down from the Cauca River Valley and the mountains of the Western Andes to the Pacific lowland jungles of San Cipriano. We're going to be having some pretty exciting adventures in this episode.
Oh, indeed. Not only good birds, but amazing food, amazing encounters with beautiful people, and great lower elevation birds.
Yeah, and some more surprises thanks to our friends at Kowa Sporting Optics
Indeed.
as well. It's going to be really exciting, man. Let's get going.
Ah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
Can't wait.
So, I mean, we should probably start off by explaining to people where we are and why we decided to come here for the final episode of this series.
So many reasons, but you know, one of the best birding towns in Colombia, no doubt, for lower elevation and in the Pacific is San Cipriano. It combines a lot of cool things, like great birds from the lower Pacific belt of the Chocó biogeographical region, and it's very accessible.
San Cipriano is one of the most interesting towns, I would say, in Colombia to arrive at.
There's no road access to San Cipriano. What there is rail access, but there are no trains really that pass through anymore, the occasional train. This used to be the line that connected Buenaventura with Cali and the rest of Colombia. These days, the entrance is through these amazing little contraptions known as brujitas. So we're about halfway through our brujita ride from the roadside into San Cipriano. As you can see, we're surrounded by all this incredible jungle. It really is like a theme park. We've been through these two tunnels on these kind of old train tracks, this rickety platform. It's how I imagine a ride at Jurassic Park would be if Jurassic Park had existed as a theme park.
And you know, we've seen the dinosaurs flying by, so you know, endemic Chocó birds.
Yeah, exactly.
Being able to bird actually from La Brujita is one of the most unique experiences that you know you can get when birding is about.
I'm not sure I've travelled anywhere birding on a more unusual form of transport.
By any means. Riding lessons, Brujita riding lessons.
And the thing is that the brujita is amazing, but also we shouldn't forget at all about the destination at the end of the line, which is San Cipriano. San Cipriano is, how many people do you think live in that town?
I'm not sure, but you know, less than 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Less than 1,000 people. It's a small town, actually built next to the Escalarete River. There is the river where the big city of Buenaventura gets their drinkable water from. And it's a reserva, it's a forestry reserve covering all this area and protecting it for the good use of the water of Buenaventura. And I love that you are in this main trail road that doesn't almost have motorized vehicles because they are not allowed in the town. And it has so many little trails to the river or to the jungle, to little waterfalls. And it makes for, I mean, I always jump on these little creeks and little waterfalls.
Oh, you have to.
Because, yeah, I mean, you're birding, but it's hot, it's lower elevation, it's humid. So it's a perfect combination.
So we're birding the main road into the forest from San Cipriano. We just had great views of Pacific flatbill, which is a really, really great species for this area. Really, really localized to the area. And our guide, Neba, was telling us that he has clients who come here and that's one of their main target birds, and he sometimes, isn't able to find it.
We met up when we first arrived with our guide who's going to be joining us in the field, Neva, who is a local guy who's been in love with birds for quite a while now and is now the go-to bird guide for that region.
One of the cool examples of, a local chap that gets interested into birding and the local birders support him with gear and stuff, and suddenly he is the local person, the fixer, and his family also offers food that is pretty cool, pretty handy, and he's the person to go with,
Viene otra, viene una para acá, viene una para acá, viene una para acá.
Sí.
Viene para acá, viene para acá.
No.
Ok, ya lo vi, sí, uy, ya lo vi. Espera, tengo que volver acá.
We've already had some really nice species localized to this region. We had a bay wren, which is mostly along the Colombian Pacific and a little bit of the Magdalena Valley, which gave us unbelievable views, like perched like a puff bird for about 5 minutes, which a wren never does.
We've talked a little bit in previous episodes of this series about the biogeographical Chocó, but we're still in it in San Cipriano.
We're still in it, and the cool thing about the biogeographical Chocó is that it's not only in the lowlands, not middle elevation or the high elevation, but it's spread all over from the Pacific to the reach of the Western Andes. But a lot of the birds here are actually so cool because they indicate that you are in this habitat, like Sapayoa.
So we've come down a little side trail from the main road into the jungle along this little creek, and the target bird in this little section of forest is Sapayoa. Sapayoa is this really unusual flycatcher-like bird, but isn't a flycatcher. Evolutionarily, it's fascinating. Its closest relatives are the Asian broadbills, and there's no real similar bird like it in the whole of Latin America or the Americas. It's a super difficult bird to see well. Our videographer's gone off into the forest with Neva, our guide, to try and improve the shot space. Difficult bird to film, and one of the most important target birds for someone coming to San Cipriano to look for birds.
Obviously with this show, we never really know what we're going to be able to film unless we're going to places where there's maybe a nest or there's feeders. So we kind of, we hope to see certain birds. This was a bird that we really tried hard to go and see and to film because it's one of the most interesting birds scientifically in Colombia, I think probably in South America, maybe in the world.
So what was this here?
Just like up across the top branch up there.
That was a lemon spectacle that just crossed, wasn't it?
There, I think. Sí. Ahí está. That's it.
Behind the leaf for me?
Yeah, behind the leaf.
Get it there.
Yeah,
right there.
Como front on, but a little bit high.
Yeah.
This is a lifer for me in Valle del Cauca. I've never seen it in San Cipriano.
I got my lifer here, I think, actually.
Mine was in a Chocó.
But then
This is a Chocó endemic, right?
There's a biogeographical Chocó endemic in
lowland.
Beautiful name, Enigma.
Yeah.
It's been an enigma you were, saying earlier. That's pretty amazing.
Taxonomic enigma.
Sapayoa is this more, let's say, mannequin flycatcher, is a tyrannoid. And it happened that after research, it was proven that this bird is closely related, is more related to old world birds, to the broadbills.
To the broadbills, yeah.
In the old part of the world, and not to the new world mannequins, new world tyrants, new world flycatchers.
Well, its scientific name is literally Sapayoa enigma, which is, I think, one of my favorite scientific names of any bird, that they've literally just been like, you know what, we don't really know where this bird belongs, so let's call that out and call it enigma.
Sapayoa.
Cool one.
Good bird.
Cool one.
See you on the other side. Well, we crossed the river because we are going to visit a really interesting local project, Mama Jeja. And so we're going to go visit Mama Jeja, which is a guest house, but also it's like a culinary experience.
Beautiful, huge smile. She cooks like the gods, absolutely. And she's this, matriarch, this matrona that, she rules her place.
Aquí me viene creciendo unita de albahaca. Siento que tengo un don que es identificar sabores. Yo juego con los sabores, o sea, desde que miro el producto me imagino qué sabor me puede dar X o Y cosa y lo hago y me sale.
Turmeric in there. Así está bien.
Exacto.
So we're going to be making red snapper in hoja de bijao leaf. And we're going to be preparing this red snapper with green plantains and a whole bunch of local vegetables and herbs.
Pero esta es muy común acá. En el Pacífico, las abuelas cocinaban el pescado y a eso le llamaban panda de pescado.
Una panda, sí.
Una panda. Siempre el pescado ya lo cocinaban así, es más. También lo hacían por método de conservación, porque luego de tenerlo cocinado lo ponían al humo. Entonces ahí les duraba varios tiempos.
So it's on the stove now, our fish dish with the green plantain. It's going to be about half an hour and then we're going to be eating. Really looking forward to it. And now we're going to make some other stuff.
Ya está precocida.
So this is pringamosa. This is kind of like, I guess you translate it as a stinging nettle. So Mami Jeje was just showing us this is pre-cooked, how you remove the stinging part so that we can eat it without, you know, getting stung.
¿Y este hogado qué tiene? ¿Tomate?
Ese tiene el tomate, cebolla, las especias de azote.
Directly from the garden to the table, absolutely. Lulu is one of those exclusive from this side of the world fruits. Oh, man.
Hacemos el tabaquito ahí con la hoja.
Nettle rolls here, kind of like nettle spring rolls with lulo sauce, and it smells incredible.
This is out of this world. Wow. Absolutely out of this world.
That's so good. Yeah, so this is really exciting. The cool thing is this is like a touristic experience here in San Cipriano. This isn't just something that's being done for us. You can come and stay here at Mama Jeje. You can do this yourself. You can eat here. The food's going to be great.
But we couldn't stay for too long. We enjoyed the food. We had a great time hanging out with Mama Jeje, but there was birding to be done as well.
How not to run away to do some more birding, especially when your days are limited there. When you have, you know, a family like puffbirds so well represented in San Cipriano.
It's probably the puffbird capital of Colombian birding, I guess. Right?
Indeed, we got to see. I mean, if we start with the small one, lanceolated monklet, the smallest puffbird in the world, that is only in Central and South America.
So I'm digiscoping a lanceolated monklet. This is a really small puffbird, a really, really good bird. Difficult to see, but thankfully this time it stayed put long enough for me to get a really good digiscoping shot of it. It's a cracking bird, really good bird.
We got amazing views of that. We got amazing views of white whisker. There is a Malacoptila, white whisker puffbird.
We got the best views I think we got were
absolutely black-breasted puffbird,
which is kind of not fully Chocó endemic because it also ranges into the Magdalena Valley, but it's a very Chocó-ish bird.
This is a Chocó distribution, and it's one of the very main targets of any birding tour in Panama, in the Chocó, in the Pacific Colombia, or even in northwestern Ecuador. So it's a hard bird, not easy to connect with several times, and we got 2 individuals.
Incredible.
Never got that views before.
You know, their hunting technique, they're sit and wait hunters, right? So their method is to stay very still, not move, and mostly wait for their prey to appear in front of them, which actually is why they're cursed with a slightly unfair nickname, I think, in Colombia of bobito, which is kind of like dummy would be how you translate it probably in English. Whereas actually, really, they're quite cunning hunters, they just don't move very much.
Puffbirds are always like paying attention to their surroundings, you know, they scan for falling fruit, butterflies passing by.
It sounds a bit counterintuitive because a lot of birders might think a bird that sits perfectly still is ideal for birding because, well, it's not moving around, you can get a good look at it. But funnily enough, their same method of camouflaging themselves from their prey makes them very difficult to find. They're surprisingly well camouflaged, although you look at them in books and you see that a lot of them are very black and white coloured. You sort of think, well, that's not great camouflage, but they seem to have this dappled effect with the moss and the lichen.
Oh, absolutely, with the rays of light, of the sunlight that come through the forest.
Yeah.
They're hard to find, and that
and
makes
them
them
vocal either. Really, I mean, some of them call a bit, but they don't. At dawn and dusk, they call a bit, but they don't make a lot of noise. That's one of the things I like about birding in San Cipriano as well, is that every time you go there is a different experience. You know, some places you go and although all the species are there all the time, obviously you get different experiences in different trips. Like this time we had a lot of mixed flock activity.
I've never got so great views of black-capped pygmy tyrant, for example.
Oh yeah.
Like we did, you know, great, amazing bird, one of the smallest passerines in the world.
Yeah, we're talking about a bird that is basically the size of a hummingbird, not a hummingbird, it's about 6 centimeters.
We could see it super good.
That was a great sighting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because it's a bird that it makes a kind of high-pitched, kind of almost like cricket-like
call,
cricket,
right?
Yeah,
and
when it flies past, it could pass for a small or a large insect in some cases. It's so easy to overlook that bird.
Absolutely, absolutely.
One of the things we wanted to do, as we've done in the previous episode of this series, is help out young birders or aspiring birders in the area. And we heard through a local contact of ours of this guy, Luis Armando, Lucho, who's from a nearby reserve, not San Cipriano, but very close by.
An area that we want to go birding at, Venado Verde.
Yeah.
It seems super amazing, lots of great habitat. So having Lucho with us, it was great for a couple of reasons for me. One is that it could become like Never's, helper. But the other thing is because, this other area could be more well known for the local birders. We
invited Lucho down because we wanted to help him out, because he is another, like all the people we've given binoculars to on these series, is a really inspiring story. This time we lent him the binoculars to use from the beginning, saying,
he didn't come with his own.
Exactly, he doesn't have his own bins, so we had to say, like, you can use these.
Spare ones.
These are our sponsors for these episodes, so you use these on camera and it's all good.
Yo llevo 3 años pajareando. A nuestra comunidad llegó una problemática y era que querían montar un relleno sanitario en la cabecera donde nace la quebrada del Venado. Y en nuestra comunidad pues no tenemos agua potable, nosotros utilizamos agua de lluvia y cuando no llueve pues bajamos a la quebrada. Entonces decidimos organizarnos como una asociación comunitaria para así poder proteger nuestra quebrada y nuestro territorio. Y a partir de ahí con los compañeros empezamos a diferenciar qué es lo que más nos gusta en estas áreas y bueno, me gusta más a mí el tema de las aves.
So he's doing amazing stuff, but he's doing all of this without binoculars. He's never really had access to any materials. They're working, some of them in the community, to train up some young kids. Like they have a group of 10 kids who are interested in nature. They're trying to kind of inspire them to get into nature. They're trying to kind of officially get recognized as a reserve as well, so they can protect, the community, can protect the forest around them. And really inspired and passionate and, wide-eyed at learning all this stuff and wanting to kind of find out what the birds in his community are and maybe guide, maybe become like a forest warden in his communities.
O sea, estos binoculares hacen mucha diferencia, ¿cierto?
Enorme.
Cambian totalmente el parche,
totalmente.
¿No? Pues entonces, deberíamos contarle a este man que le queremos hacer un regalo, ¿no, Chris?
Sí, yo creo. Contamos en este momento. Pues, parce, es que nos contaron que estás haciendo trabajos como bien chéveres, que eres amante de las aves, entonces pues tenemos un acuerdo con nuestros amigos en Kowa, que es esa marca, que queremos apoyar, como sembrar semillas de pajareros locales en toda Colombia y pues nos
queremos regalar binoculares.
Un man perfecto para este tipo de cosas, entonces son tuyos.
Sí,
son
muchas
tuyos.
gracias.
Para nada, hermano. No,
muchas gracias, hermano.
Para que veas pájaros con detalle, weón.
Uy, gracias. Les agradezco enormemente. Uy, ahora sí no me saca nadie de ese bosque. Uy, sí,
excelente. Montado.
Gracias.
Esos son súper buenos.
Sí. Con esto y la guía.
Melo.
Excelente. Uy, qué bien. Para compartir con los niños, también los compañeros. Vamos a detallar bien las aves.
Total.
Estos binoculares es una manera de motivar más los niños y motivación para nosotros, para poder seguir estudiando un poco más las aves y aprender más de ellas, y pues creo que voy a poder hacer como un registro mucho mejor.
Every sort of binocular donation in this series has been fantastic, and I love the different, like you said, the different profiles of the people involved. And the thing I loved was that one of the first things he said was, the kids are going to be so excited.
With this series, we've done it with Omaira and also with Lucho, that we are not only helping these 2 guys, but we are helping all these other kids that they are working with. When people do know that what they have in their backyard, in their area, in their reserve, is important, is interested for local conservationists or visiting birders, they feel important. They feel that they have something to offer.
as we've always said in these episodes, we love birding, we love all these experiences. And the other thing that we couldn't miss out on in San Cipriano was doing a little bit of herping, which we've done a little bit before in our Panama episodes, going to look for amphibians and reptiles.
Move somewhere, I don't know.
We've had a lot of luck with the herping. I mean, we've had a couple of species of glass frogs.
Yeah.
Rana de cristal.
One of the bigger ones that we have no idea what the name.
The species was.
Turtle, basilisk.
Yeah, really. And the amazing thing is, this is just a tiny creek behind the place we're staying in San Cipriano. We are next to a little, populated area next to where we're sleeping, and just wading down this little creek for 15-20 minutes, we had a whole bunch of incredible species.
Any insect, any mammals, like you could see like kinkajou, quick view. You're sitting there's a cropia.
And by the day we were, when we were birding looking for the Sapayoa, we found one leaf which had one tree which had about 4 or 5 glass frogs with their eggs. Unbelievable views of one of the coolest frogs I've ever seen.
Many of the poison frogs are there, the arrow poison frogs.
We saw some poison frogs. Like if you're a kid growing up interested in nature in England, like me for example, that is like the storybook forest, I think, the lowland Pacific jungle. It's like an adventure playground. That and the Amazon is just so incredibly biodiverse on a level that you never really understand until you've been maybe in the neotropics in that area. You go to those places and you just can't believe the kind of exuberance of it. And we've got some great birds as well. We've got good views of Chocó broadwheel, of Chocó screech owl. There's good night birds too. But the thing is that even though I'm a birder, I was so absorbed in the quest for these incredible, reptiles and amphibians. I can see the appeal of herping. I think this probably is about a wrap on our Valle del Cauca series at this point. But what we should say is, and I'll call back to what we mentioned earlier, eagle-eyed viewers and eagle-eared viewers who are hearing the great thrushes and rufous-collared sparrows singing in the background may have realised that we are not doing our studio in San Cipriano. We do our studio setup in the place in the evening after we've been out. After having, it must be said, incredible luck with the weather in San Cipriano, because we should mention that this is one of the wettest lowland places on Earth.
In all the episodes of the series.
All the episodes, we got so lucky with weather. And in October in Colombia, that's quite unusual. But the very end of our time in San Cipriano, some rain really came down. Some very heavy rain, so much so that the river burst its banks a little bit, came up over the path.
Some mudslides.
Some mudslides. We were struggling to get out of San Cipriano, so we had to kind of hightail it further down. And actually, in a weird way, for us at least, it worked out quite nicely, because we got to complete our journey on the Pacific Ocean in Buenaventura.
Yeah, I like the Rio Ocean down there. You even got me a couple of lifers there, so not too shabby.
I mean, Diego, the whole series has been incredible. We've covered so many different ecosystems, seen some great birds, had some lifers. Both of us had some lifers. This episode has been incredible. This whole series has been wonderful. If you want to see more of our adventures all around the world, help us in our mission to make birding accessible to people all around the world, please do, as always, remember to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. All of our social media links and Patreon are in the description below. And of course, we have to thank everyone who helped us make this episode possible. The tourism office of Valle del Cauca region, Mama Yeja, our guide Never, Lucho, who got the binoculars.
The Fundación San Cipriano.
Fundación San Cipriano, where we stayed. Diego, what a trip.
A wonderful trip, a wonderful experience, and just, looking forward to do some more Birder Show episodes, mate.
Yeah, more coming soon. Subscribe.
Salud.
Cheers.
Salud to everyone.
Salud.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for joining us.